last second part, he have given so many secrets from his spiritual experience. The beginning, or I said in the beginning, everything else can wait, but your search for God cannot wait. And I will tell you definitely.
One of the saints of Ramakrishna Mission had made one sentence. He said, like in banana, the peel of banana is like religion. And the core of the banana is the spirituality.
Wow.
In physics, energy cannot be created, nor can be destroyed. It can be converted from one form to another. Through lack of confidence, low confidence feeling, do Reiki. Reiki is energy that will help you to extract the energy from cosmos and bring it in. Vipassana practice, you start controlling your mind. So mind says, I'm having pain. He said, sit 1 hour, I have to sit like that. Spirituality starts where science ends.
Wow.
My journey started towards Yoga Satsang Society, and I started reading Guruji's, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji's, this small episodes of, this is a collection of episodes of his life, small stories, but these are life-changing stories. Many people, many monks in our center, they have also said that their life direction has changed. I was never used to think about me. That time I did not realize. Later on I realized I don't think about me. I never used to pray for me. You know, if I have ever prayed, I prayed for others.
And somewhere I read and I think heard, when we think too much about ourselves, that's also cause of suffering.
Yeah. So I mean, now sometimes I say I don't think at all about myself. You know, and I used to think, why people think so much? They worry so much, and I don't worry. And that was my worry, that I don't worry. I'm an always happy person, you know, living my life. So people get surprised, or maybe they're thinking what happened. So for me, people have everything, but they're still not happy, and have nothing, but I'm still happy. So that's a big difference. When you can be happy without having anything. So I was like that. And so that is a time when a workshop was done by when I was in Telstra. There's a workshop conducted by one of our MD. So there's one person who's doing workshop. So when they do workshop, they do mind study. You know, you are, you know, what is that study? Mayer and Briggs. There's a psychological study they do. So they used to do for every individual. So they give a report also. Then
like a questionnaire format.
And then what kind of person you are.
It's I think called personality test in psychology.
Mayer and Briggs and Mayer percent test are there also. So slowly I first heard somebody that Sri's that workshop used to happen.
That art of happiness, maybe?
Art of living.
Art of living.
So I joined. Somebody was doing in CR Park. So I joined that first time for 5 days.
That was your initial start into that spirituality in some official workshop, something like that.
Yeah, some form of spirituality. I didn't know what spirituality is. But there was that workshop. So somebody said, I'm doing, why don't you do? So I said, let me go and try. So evening 2 hours, I used to go there, close by, I used to do that. So that was first introduction I had with Art of Living, and did it and left it. That was it. Then many years later, I did Reiki. I joined Reiki. Somebody told me what is Reiki. I studied what is Reiki.
Will you let us know what is Reiki? Like those who don't know.
So Reiki is, so it is another tool, tool which you practice, and that's also to do with energy. Like all our studies, the processes are with energy. So Reiki is a Japanese terminology. Reiki is a Japanese study, and that that teaches you, first you go through initiation, and then they teaches you how to invoke the energy in you, and then there are 26 points we have, like all the chakras and different points in the body. So how you can give energy to yourself.
You mentioned two things, initiation and energy. What's that?
So initiation is that when you get introduced to that, they will explain theoretically what Reiki is, what is the meaning of Reiki.
It's like going deeper into that knowledge.
To understanding what Reiki. Before you do the practice, you must, theoretically you must know. So what is the definition of Reiki? What are the mantras in Reiki? And how does Reiki helps? What is our body structure? What is chakra? How our body has areas which, if it is gross, and it's subtle, how it is happening, how the energy works in your body. So theoretically, they explain you what Reiki is, how Reiki is, and once you learn that, they will initiate you. So that's a process of cleansing. The first mantra they will give, and they do certain practices so that your blocks, certain your chakra blocks open. And after that, they will teach you this technique which you have to practice at home.
Is that like you need a guru to practice that initiation?
You need a master.
You need a master.
Somebody
Teacher.
who teaches you.
Okay.
But that is a 1 day or few days course. Learn, and that after that you practice at home.
Okay. If for someone you have to tell him in one word what Reiki means, like what would you say? It's an energy or?
Reiki is Re, and Ki is that, like we have pranayama.
Prana is true.
Pran and ayam. Control of pran.
Correct.
Similarly, Reiki is to control energy. So it is how you drive energy through your body. So it does different points, and when you practice, and your hand will become warm.
Wow.
And when you, like in solar plexus, so when you put your hand in solar plexus and do kind of meditation, like you have to focus in this portion, and you have to feel that you have drawing energy in your hand, and so you will feel this portion is getting warm.
Wow. Did you experience all these things?
Yes.
And like how much time it takes to go till this point, like you are able to experience this?
No, I mean, first 21 days you practice.
Wow.
But then you slowly learn that it is happening.
Oh.
First few days maybe it is not warm, but then after some time when you focus, you said, yeah, it is warm. And that gives you a lot of energy. Like your pain here, you do Reiki, your pain is relieved. So a lot of people were getting relief, physical pain.
You experienced it for yourself?
Yes.
Wow.
Physical pain. And then there are degrees of first degree Reiki, second degree Reiki, third degree. In first degree, it is touch Reiki, that you touch yourself.
For self, not for others.
So, second degree, you can do touch Reiki to others. Because you need to practice. And then,
it's all about practice.
And third degree is you can do distance Reiki.
Wow.
Like from sitting here, you can have somebody in another city. You can think of that person, and you draw energy in you, and you can transmit that energy to the person, and the person can feel it.
And I think that is the way those saints and all people heal others, very distant people. And somewhere I read, we all think separation is the greatest illusion that we are living. Like हम सोचते हम सब अलग अलग हैं, but you mentioned that of E equal to MC square. In terms of energy, everything is energy. Yeah. Whatever we are wearing, the mask and all, whatever I'm speaking, seeing, everything is energy.
So it is to play with energy, and that helped me that time to get that confidence back.
Wow.
It gave me a lot of confidence. I remember I was doing third degree, and I was sitting with the master, and he was explaining something, and I'll give an example what happened that day. It's very important. So my master said, okay, write down 10 things in your life, what happened, which changed your life. Or not change your life. He said, which had negative impact on you. So I started writing big impacts. No, first he said, write down 10 impacts which were big impact, had big impact on your life. Big impact. So I thought and wrote 10 points which I could.
Would you like to tell 3 of them?
I'll come to that. So I was writing them, and I remember, and then he said, okay, now against each of them, write which are the events which had negative impact on you. And I said, no, this was not negative. School days, I didn't get medicine. It didn't give a negative. This job, not negative. And then I had written my marriage, my divorce, like that. And those are big events in my life. And when I was writing, and during near that word, my divorce, I could not write negative. I even strike that it's not negative. And when I did that, and I looked at my teacher, he was smiling. And that moment, all my pain and agony of that dissolved. That got finished. So I know that exercise helped me. That day I realized that event is not a negative event which that transformed me to be a better person, much stronger person, maybe a much happier person. So though that was a very impactful, though that was in a way a negative impact in anybody's life, but I came out of it, and
With
that
more
was not
strength.
not a negative. I can't
True.
wait. And I forgave everybody after that moment, that
Wow.
day, that for this, whatever has happened, nobody is to be blamed. I am not to be blamed. The person with whom I was married is not to be blamed. She should be forgiven. I should be forgiven.
Wow.
All my relatives who were party to this whole event, in some way or the other, all should be forgiven, and I forgive all of them, and I was much freer person.
It's something like you cleared all the credits that you have from people at emotional. And one thing I would like to mention here, like you said, it's a form of exercise which make you aware of your subconscious that we are holding.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
because generally I read a book, it mentioned all the diseases which are coming in our life, we are carrying the seeds in our subconscious.
Yes.
So I think when you wrote those things, you become aware of, like, it's not what I am thinking it to be.
Yes.
Like ignorantly we are thinking it to be like इसी को योग में कहा गया विपर्य वृत्ति, which is not, we are thinking it to be that, and it's a cause of ignorance and it's a cause of suffering also. So it's a good exercise. I think if anyone is going through that phase,
I would think people should. I recommend a lot of people that do Reiki, and I'll tell you one of my friend. I'll take a little time because this may help many people who are going
definitely.
through tough time in
Sure.
their life. One of my friends, she is also single. She was much troubled. So now, at least by grace of God, after doing all these practices, in Reiki makes your intuition very strong, like all meditation.
I would love to know like what intuition is, those who don't know.
So intuition is your sixth sense. When we call our sixth sense, five senses we know, right? The sixth sense is
We know, and only we live on 5 senses.
So when you practice all these things, yoga, meditation, Reiki, Vipassana and all, so your sixth sense develops because you are reducing your dependence on your five senses. Because today what we are is the sum total of five senses.
From childhood we are doing
So
that.
we are seeing, watching something, and our image is getting created,
true.
and we are constructing a world based on those information.
Yesterday I was talking to one of my friends. He said, I'm very worried with my mind. I asked him, is it your mind? From the childhood, everyone is throwing their thought on you, and now you collect it and you say it's mine. How it's yours? Because it's like we collect it from the surroundings,
Yes.
those whom we are meeting. Like we cannot control the circumstances, as you said earlier also. So there was a practice like they say in Nirvana Shatkam also, I am not the body, I am not the mind. That little much distance if we can do with the mind. Mind is also like a tool. In yoga we say vritti sarupe mitratta. Like we become one with the kind of vritti thoughts we have, and we start living those things.
Yes.
Like you said, you start living like the divorce created a pain for you. We start ignorantly. But when you practice like Reiki and all, then you become tada drishtu swarupe vasana. You connect with your real self, your true self.
Yeah. So it's so important. So that person, so with that intuition, your intuition become very strong. Guruji also has said, our intuition becomes very strong. Okay. So you can see things. So if somebody is going through tough time, I generally can make out.
See, or maybe the better word is feel things.
Yeah, I mean, you feel, and then it's a sum of
You can like visualize what you said earlier.
the
Yeah.
person, how the person is talking,
yeah.
behaving. Then you can feel that person needs little help. So I then would try to suggest something. So I knew that person was going through tough time, and something was bothering her. So I told her, why don't you do Reiki? So once or twice once she agreed. She went to the same master. She learned it, and she came back. So I went to ask her. She said, don't ask me anything.
Wow.
So I said, okay, because she's still going through that, and obviously little ego. So I said, so we had tea, and so after 3-4 days, and she said, you know what happened? So I said, what?
Like we love to tell like what happened to us. We want to share.
He said, she was doing Reiki practice, and here, so Guruji's master says, okay, put your hand here, and then think of that thing which is troubling you the most, or for which you have come here, or what is troubling you the most. What is that you always think and that disturbs you? Think of that, and keep your hand, solar plexus, and do some Reiki and do it like that. She said, you won't believe, the thought which used to bother me day and night, I could not bring that thought in me.
Wow.
And I was crying, so my tears were rolling down, and I could not remember that thought. And next moment, that thought is gone.
Maybe it was never there, we were imagining.
No, it's not. It is there.
Yeah.
But that got dissolved, and that came
In the
out
form
through
of
the
tears.
tears.
Yeah.
So your body, mind got cleansed.
Correct.
So this practices does cleansing of your body. So you have a pain, that will get cleansed. If you have pain, emotional pain, that will get cleansed. So your body becomes much free. So you need to go through those practice and make your body and mind free of them. So I would think, somebody is going through lack of confidence, low confidence feeling, do Reiki. Reiki is energy that will help you to extract the energy from cosmos and bring it in your,
very beautiful,
and enlighten, enrich, and make your system healthy. And like, it's no rocket science.
Wow.
It is simple time to yourself. Do little practice. Love yourself. You will transform yourself. You will transform your body, mind.
Great.
So, and it's a very simple technique. Learn and do it at home.
Wow.
But you have to invest 1 hour in the evening, 1 morning.
And I remember, like, I was in some Reiki workshop. In our traditional homes also we do Reiki. Like जब हम कभी बाहर से आते थे, मम्मा used to do that आरती और नजर उतारते थे. I think that's a form of Reiki.
Yes,
only.
it's not Reiki.
But these days we are forgetting that, like, आरती और वो that cleanses your aura, that cleanses your chakras, I think. And throughout the day whom we are meeting, like with someone we have clash, with someone we like to meet. So those are breaks in our chakras also, and in long duration that create problem and disease for us.
You see, nazar उतारते हैं.
Yeah, definitely.
That's also energy, because they feel some negative energy has come
Wow.
to you, so they will dispel that with positive energy.
Correct.
Maybe mother's love is positive energy, dispels your.
Yes.
हमारे उसमें मम्मी जाने से पहले काट देते थे, काला.
True.
So this is all energy.
Work, definitely
So
work.
our whole light is energy, sound is energy. We are living in the world of energy.
But we forget somewhere, and we start living as a mortal being.
In physics, we energy cannot be created,
Nor
can
be destroyed.
It can be converted from one form to another.
Wow.
So light to electricity, to light, to fan, to sound, like telephone.
And your intelligence to knowledge and healing others also. Wow.
So it's all energy.
Okay, I got it, and I really request everyone, please go through that. He's sitting as an example, as an experienced person, and he healed himself, he healed others also. But Shyamal Ji, now I would like to go to the main part of this podcast, and I think that book also changed my life. Maybe yours too. I would love to know that story also. And that book is one and only that Autobiography of Yogi by Shri Paramahansa Yogananda Ji. And I think that is the book from where my spiritual journey began. So I would love to know, and that is where we also met, because that is the connecting link for you and me to meet. And so I would love to know, like, what that book has impact on your life, and how your meditation journey began. Like you tell, your Reiki, you are done with your body, like all the pain gone away, but now it's the time to, you already cleared all your outer connection through satellite and IT working, but now that's the time to connect with your real self. Is that
Yes.
something like that?
So the journey towards Yoga was not immediate, and after this Reiki thing, I got interested in another meditation technique, which was Vipassana. I must tell you.
You're a good explorer, I think. Yeah, I would
I'll
love to
take
know.
little time
Yeah.
to explain that, because it's very useful for people.
I think you are also letting us know, like, good things make you wait. Definitely. Okay, we will wait, no problem with
Because there is a chronology.
Yeah.
And if you take the one link out, it's not, the story is not complete
true.
at times. So I then one day, one of those workshop, they said, what is Vipassana? I said, no, there's Vipassana something. That person told me somewhere in 2000, 2001. And 2003, suddenly I remembered, he told me something of Vipassana. I just Googled it. I saw Vipassana. There is another school of Vipassana. What is Vipassana? I read a little bit. And there was a center in Dehradun.
Please, you will let us also know what Vipassana, little bit that you learned. Yeah.
So I called them up and I enrolled myself and I went to do that. I told my family that I'm going for Vipassana and 10 days I will be out of touch.
Did they are surprised with that, or they are okay, you can go?
No, they said okay.
Okay.
You say, but be careful, etc.
Maybe they thought you are going for a meeting.
No, I told him what is Vipassana. I don't know. I'm just going.
Okay.
So they knew a bit that he needs little time to himself.
So we were talking about Vipassana. So you were letting us know about some problems that you have that you heal through Vipassana. Will you let us know about that?
Yes. So Vipassana is another technique, very scientific technique. It is a teaching of Gautama the Buddha. So his experience of Nirvana has been converted into technique called Vipassana. Actual pronunciation Vipassana. In English it is called Vipassana. And worldwide it is being taught. So that's very intensive program. It is, so I'll talk about the program later on because I'm not preaching that program,
Okay.
but that's a very good tool. I call it tool because it teaches you meditation in a different way, and that is very impactful. 5 o'clock onwards your exercise practice will start, and 10 hours. So 10 hours, 10 days, they will teach you a particular technique. You have to do it, and this 10 days you can't talk to anybody except to master or the admin if you need anything. Otherwise, even if your roommate, you can
Is
talk.
that easy for you, or is it?
It wasn't difficult.
Okay.
It wasn't difficult. It's only that you are not practiced to that, but you just can't talk. You can't talk. See, so it's life becomes very easy when you are compliant. ऐसा करना है तो कर लेते हैं. Moment you start challenging, you make it difficult for you. Okay, so I deliberately went into
But
it.
I would like to add my experience. Generally, when I started my meditation journey, so generally what happened, we don't see what is within us. So when we start meditation, we start to know like, oh, I think about these things. I have so and so within me. So it was initially like painful. You can think like example, you go into a very dirty toilet. You see and you don't like to go there. But once you clean that toilet and then you go there, you have a different experience. So maybe initially our mind is also like cluttered, dirty with the things. But when we do Vipassana, we become aware of that something happened with you, like it happened with me. The case was with me.
You realize that at the end, because initially you don't know what you want. That's why you are in that state.
Wow.
That is why you have gone there. 2 things I would suggest people that don't go in this kind of practices, don't go with preset expectation.
Amazing.
That I want to get this out of it. You don't get it.
Then you will miss it, I hope.
You have to surrender. Go, I will learn. Whatever they teach, I will learn. Whatever they show, I'll see. Whatever they ask me to practice, I'll practice. I may get benefited, I may not get benefited.
That means you are directly saying you go, keeping your ego aside, outside, and then you go. I think then you can do what you are saying.
I put it in simple word
yeah.
because the moment you
Yes.
talk about ego, people find it's very complicated word. I said, just don't expect anything. Don't challenge anything.
Yeah.
Be compliant. Master ने बोला ऐसा करो, करो.
करो.
Because you have gone there to learn something. It's not to teach something. You have to go to take.
Wow.
So go and take everything. No? Why do you want to push your thought? Your thought already made your life miserable.
Miserable. True.
So now since you want to make it better, so learn something. And so talking about keeping ego outside, if you ever go to Bangalore to the center of Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, so there's a meditation hall.
I've been there.
Nilakshi, its name.
Yeah,
It's
something
Meenakshi.
like that.
So where you keep shoes, there's one quotation there. Keep your shoes and ego outside. So interesting.
Wow.
So when you go to learn this, you keep your ego outside. Don't get into challenging and don't put your intellect into it. Anyways, so I just went to learn it. I went there, and they said this is the technique. Tomorrow morning, you'll be, we'll wake you up and then go and start. So one simple technique. They have one cassette. They'll play the cassette. Their master is telling you what
I
to
think
do.
SN Goenkaji.
SN Goenkaji. He will, this one cassette is placed worldwide. No change,
Wow.
no addition, no deletion, no addition, nothing. Same cassette, same way, everywhere, every time. And he has given everything. So there is a process by which you have to run your mind from your head to toe. And you have to run through your body parts. In in Reiki, you go to points, spots. And here, this is little evolved. So it tells you to run it, and when you run it, I'm giving some small example, run it to your body, like hand, then your legs. So you are running your mind through that. So you have to go inside your, otherwise how will you do that?
Wow.
So close your eyes and say, okay, run your mind. And then what happens? You feel some, if there is any pain, some problem, you will not be able to pass your mind from there. So you get stuck. So you're trying to pass through, you're not able to. 1 day, 2 day, third day suddenly it will pass through. So every day morning, only one, from top to bottom, bottom to top. First people get very difficult to sit for 1 hour. They'll move. Then after 2 days, you'll see you are not moving.
Correct.
So you could do it for 45 minutes,
Wow.
1 hour. So that's how you slowly understand that how you're controlling your body. So generally our mind controls our body. Mind is like monkey.
True.
So it keeps on moving. In Vipassana practice, you start controlling your mind. So mind says, I'm having pain. He said, sit. 1 hour I have to sit like that. So 1 hour you continue to do that. And it says, 4th day, when you do that, your body is going through a lot of cleansing process. So your past sedimented. So if Reiki is more for physical healing, Vipassana is mind healing. Emotional healing. So what we have in our system, we have thoughts of past life, many lives, sedimented into our body. And if it is painful, then it converts into pain.
Wow.
Past life. If it is unpleasant, if you hold to that unpleasant life, it converts into a physical manifestation and you get neck pain, knee pain, back pain. So, and it starts cleansing. All your past thought will come. So when you are doing this exercise, some old thought will come. So the direction master gives
What was the most worried thought you have during that?
No, it's not like that.
Okay.
Some thought will come, it
And
take
go.
your mind out. So the instruction of master is bring your mind back. Okay, I was doing because, so let me start again. Again you start doing, again some thought will take you away. So this in and out process keeps on going. Suddenly you realize, half an hour you did, 25 minutes were you outside, some other thought, 5 minutes was inside. But that 5 minutes increases. And a day you reach where out of 30 minutes, 25 minutes you were inside.
5 minutes will be outside.
So that's the time you have controlled your mind. So now your mind is very worried that this guy is controlling me. So fourth day, so what happens? It does the cleansing. So by 4th day, there's a lot of physical manifestation. So a lot of people get blisters in their feet and hand. Some people will get fever. Some people will cry, howl. So all over the place, some 100 people are doing silently. On 4th day, you will see some reaction of the people. Somebody is screaming, somebody is crying. Because internal, all the junk, emotional things were coming out in different form. I had fever, somebody gets blister. And if somebody has very tough this thing, and they may leave. They said, I can't sustain.
Is it allowed?
They take a form
Permission.
that if you are not well, they would not allow, because it may impact your body, some disease if you have, and you are taking ownership of your body, we are not responsible. So they have to give in writing. So some people cannot sustain, if weak-minded people, so they will run. They will say, I can't do it. So they'll allow you to go. But if you have crossed 4 days, then you will cross all 10 days. And that transformation you go in your body and mind is mind-boggling. All your past things would come, go, and the only direction is when the thought comes, don't get attached to that thought. Let it go. Thought will come and go. Come and so it will go out of your system. And karte, and earlier from one cycle of going top to bottom and bottom to top, if it was taking, let's say 5 minutes, 3 minutes, and if you do it well, if it goes well, then by 9th day, 8th day, 9th day, it's like Jalaprabaha. Like waterfall की तरह आप यूं नीचे चले जाते हैं, यूं आते हैं. सोचिए आपका जो बॉडी था, which was स्थूल, gross, has become सूक्ष्म. इतना सूक्ष्म हो गया, and you can pass through your body. So all those kings and and joint pain and the worries
will go away.
in our body. They are like
Manifest.
lymphs. They are there, so that gets. So it's a big body mind cleanser, and people who are really going tough time, if they really need.
Cleansing.
We all have a lot of problems.
Definitely. We generally collect our suffering through.
So I always tell them, go and invest 10 days in your life in this exercise.
Wow.
You will be a changed person. A lot of Israelis do it.
Wow, why is that?
Because in Israel they are very much disturbed due to this war.
Okay.
The small country is continuous under war. So they come here in India and they do this exercise. They are much benefited. Even Israel has a lot of Vipassana center in their country.
I think now these Vipassana centers are all over.
India.
Internationally level we can think of. Yes.
So I did that, and I thought, found, and while I used to practice, and we had a circle of people, friends, we used to talk about it. They used to also study, read and all. So one friend I have, so he is a good reader. So he reads all those things. So he read that book of Autobiography.
Oh.
So he then gave it to another friend of mine.
Will you show that book to all of us?
So he then gave it to my friend, and he read it, and then he gave me this book, which is Autobiography of a Yogi.
Wow.
So this is the book which came to my hand, and I started reading it. And slowly when I started reading, I got into it. And with this book, my journey started towards Yoga Satsang Society. And I started reading Guruji's, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji's, this small episodes of, this is a collection of episodes of his life. So this is the only book in the world where autobiography is written by the person
Yogi
himself. By the person himself. So he has written it. And this is small stories, but these are life-changing stories. Many people, many monks in our center, they have also said that their life direction has changed through this book. So I am again blessed that this book helped me.
I am also blessed with that book. Same here. Yeah.
So this book is really a book we would again urge everybody, just read this book. You don't have to be scared of it. You don't have to learn anything, so to say. Don't think that, okay, it's another preaching and all, nothing. Just as a storybook, if you read, good enough. If it helps you in some way, it's good. If not, then you have read another book, But I don't think it has happened ever that anybody who has read this book with good love and good intention, the book is not impacted that person. It's impossible to happen. But so this book, and I'll tell you, my two friends, they're not into that line. But they gave that book, so this book had to come to me through them.
And maybe you get prepared with all your Vipassana, Reiki to come to this final meditational practices.
So I will say much higher. So Reiki, higher than Reiki was Vipassana, and higher than Vipassana was Kriya Yoga.
I would like to add one thing into that. Like when I also get connected to this book, I started practicing meditation. It's more about sitting in silence. Then I thought it's very high technique. Maybe this is not for me. Then I start learning Hatha Yoga and that asana thing and all, and I gone through that. And then I realized like there are only asana, pranayama, not much talk about meditation and all. Then later I realized that advanced yoga, or it's mainly about, like Bhagavad Gita also says, it's about mind control, because its mind is also the reason for your misery as well as for the happiness. So I think this is guiding us to that final meditation thing. So I would love to know from you, like you mentioned of your two friends who are not into this line, but you are. So what are the stories which really transformed any one or two story you would like to share with us, which deeply touched you from this book?
I mean, well,
I know this whole book is a gem, but
it just gets into it. Wow. I mean, since I was already in different form of these practices, it was not new to me, but I was just teaching, and that scientific way of teaching, explaining things by Guruji is what impacted me a lot, because the whole lessons, meditation process which Guruji has explained or taught us, all the techniques like Om technique or Hongsa, many Siddh learned masters have taught it in various ways. But the way Guruji has explained and taught us is very, very scientific. And since I come from science background, I can relate it much.
I know we can spend the whole night on that, but I would love to know a little bit of that, what that science, how that science and spiritual connect. Would you let us know if you want?
So now spirituality is a domain, and that's a good question also. Like there are two sayings I would say. Somebody said, spirituality starts where science ends.
Wow.
You know, so science is a material thing, and there's another saying. He said, in science, you question first and then you believe. In science, what we said, okay, how does it happen? We do experiment, empirical formula, and then we said, okay, now it works.
True.
So we question and then believe.
Maybe question, experiment, then believe.
Question, experiment, then believe. In spirituality, you believe and then you question. So the first premise is that you believe that it works. You believe God exists. You believe this, everything in this world is done by some supernatural power. You believe that this happens. Something has happened, something designed, immaculately by somebody. So you have that belief. Then you question how, why I'm so and so.
True.
Why it is happening. So nobody's stopping you to question. Why I think like that and he doesn't like that.
Did you question?
So when I got into it, then in the whole process, I am progressing and I'm learning how the body is going to work, how the mind is going to work. So the premise is very different. So you don't question. You first believe and then you want to know more and you question. And that's why in spiritual field, it's saying more and more you learn, more and more you realize that less and less you know.
Wow. Same thing I heard, I think B.K. Shivani, you know about her, she's an electrical engineer. She also has the same problem. Her mother used to go to that meditational place and she was an engineer, she was a professor. She used to say, how could I believe? Then he said one thing, in mathematics, you assume something. Then you do derivation, you work, and then later you say, hence proved. So maybe it's something like a journey. Initially, we need to take some reference, and the later word we experience, then we realize that. Is it so?
But in spiritual, like science, what you said in science is correct. You first see, you do experimentation, and then believe. You don't believe before that.
True.
But in spirituality, you first believe.
Or
Because
when
you
get
into this meditation, for example, when you got into it, something attracted you, right? It was a center.
True.
So you had some belief in your mind
True.
that there is something. So to explore more, then you picked up the book, or you went to that center, you learned yoga. You said, I then learned Hatha Yoga. So that is your experimentation started, your questioning started.
Correct.
But you had some innate feeling. That's why you search for Guru, or you search for. So that search starts when you have a belief. You don't believe, you don't search.
Okay.
So I would say that somewhere that belief has to be there. Yes, there is something. I must find out.
Wow.
Even when you question self, no? So there is some belief that am I body only? Or,
you question yourself, definitely.
So there is, so you believe that, something is there. Something is there. What is that something? You start questioning.
You start questioning.
So, those are the sayings. So, I would say the science, like if you listen to Einstein's end life, some of the comments and some of the theories, he became very spiritual. Because Einstein reached the pinnacle of science where he reached E equal to mc square. He discovered that formula, but beyond that he couldn't go.
What is that, please? A little bit of that.
So energy is equal to me is energy is equal to mass, m is mass into c square. C is velocity of light. So square is that square of that. So if you can convert a mass into high velocity, that becomes energy.
Wow.
On the contrary, if you can condense energy by big thing, then it becomes mass.
True.
So that is why you see, and that is what we see in our all siddhas. So they used to disappear and they used to appear. So they had the power to condense that energy to become mass, so they will appear here. And next moment they will dissolve themselves. So they will convert that mass into energy.
True.
So that formula is so practical in this, and that is how our rishis, they knew it.
Yes,
they
and
knew
you
it.
mentioned of the scientist also, and I think Steve Jobs, during his obituary, he used to distribute this book. This is the only book he read every year. And in the same way, you see of so many, Virat Kohli also read that book. He say, if you have a strong heart, then you read this book. Otherwise, like, so many things are there which you are not able to believe that. And I want to add one thing, like, initially we may have belief, but after experiencing, that will convert into faith.
True.
Faith. Like, belief, somewhere people will say, I will not believe, something like that.
Yeah.
But you, when have experience,
Then
then you can have faith.
True.
And faith is more stronger because it's coming from your experience.
Yes.
Wow.
So that is how that gave. I started reading again. I don't question too much. Maybe it's a bad habit.
That's a good habit, not a
or
bad
it's a good
habit.
That
But I
don't
think this is the wrong question for me. I always question. That's why I'm work.
See, that's how. There are two ways of doing question. One is to know more, and one is to challenge.
Yeah.
Right. So I generally would not. Okay. So
What
if
you
I-
find mind questions for to challenge or to know more?
So you want to know more,
Okay.
you will question. So as in every path you question, because you then investigate more and more and more. But otherwise you go and see it. And then Dr. Sethi I met, he said, have you taken Kriya? I said, not yet. He said, please study.
Will you
and
explain
try."
like what that Kriya word
So,
means?
so when you read, so Guruji has done the great thing and greatest contribution he did. It not only was Avatar. Once you start reading this book, people who would like to read this book will know that our Guru was Avatar, okay, and he came with certain mission, which is accomplishment, and he had given a lot of promises to all of us that he will take help if we are willing. Then he will help us to take us to that destination where we want to go, and he has promised, and his promise is there. That, and we all believe, who are in this practice, we all believe that Guruji is working constantly for us. In your life, you will get to know when you start practicing that in every stages of your life, he is helping you. And so if you're conscious of that, and if you have that stillness to understand that yes, he is helping. So if you, and Guruji has used very nice words. He said, Guruji has his beloved, my beloved God. So he said you should have intimate relationship with God, and that's very, very few people say, because we have made God as a God and we as distance. But Guruji says he's your friend. Make an intimate relationship, and so much so that you can talk to him.
Wow.
You are sharing your problem. You're sharing your problem. Look, Guruji, this is what happened. Can you help me?
Wow.
So can you talk to a Guru, God like that? He tells you to do that.
It's like a personal, intimate connection you should have.
So he says divine romance. His one book is divine romance. So romance can be divine only this way.
I think you are very smart and intelligent. You left that worldly romance to have that divine romance, I think. Don't take me wrong, but I think that is the joy that I think you will not attain from anything. Like outwardly, we have so many things, we get so many things, we achieve so many things, but after some time they become old. But I think what you are talking about, that's why Guruji said in the beginning, everything else can wait, but your search for God cannot wait. That's why, because it's, I think, ever new thing.
I mean, once you taste it, no?
Wow.
So if you ask somebody to explain bliss, it is not very easy to explain. You have to experience bliss. So it is not joy, it's much more than joy.
Wow.
So there's a happiness, I put it like that. There's a happiness, there's a joy, and there's a bliss.
Oh.
So it's a different layer. So happiness is a material happiness, momentary happiness. Joy, something comes from inside. And bliss something comes from top. When you get connected to God or godly person, that is the state where you feel that bliss, understand and experience that bliss. And once you experience it, every other happiness is momentary, and bliss is something ever new, joy, and which is going to sustain. And once I got into it, and I feel it keeps me going in this world. It makes me more human, more serving. Like, to serve others, you have to forget yourself, little self. Guruji says. You have to forget it. You can't be doing for others if you keep yourself on primary. So if you keep yourself...
Or maybe what you said as equal to MC square. If you know that maybe there is no others. Maybe there is no others, it's only one energy. When you practice yoga and meditation, you realize that that's why you become people's person.
Probably yes, because that is a unifying force.
You experience that oneness. That's why you want to, because when you hurt others, you also get hurt yourself.
So you keep on dissolving your ego self, and more childlike you become, and you become God's child, and then you insulate yourself. I mean, the world problems will happen. People will fight, people will shout, people will give gali to you. Okay, in different circumstances.
Yeah.
But somehow you are anchored so much in your spirituality, in your Guru's teaching, that this do not impact you. You are the same person, but you have insulated yourself. So your behavior will change. You will talk softly. You don't take offense to people telling you something, because you can filter. And Gautama the Buddha has said in some, to become angry is very easy, but to become not angry is very tough. It needs courage not to be angry. And in another context, he said, anger is like picking up a hot charcoal to throw at somebody. So you burn your hand first. So more anger, more problem you have. Right. So less anger, you are more happy child of God. So I think blessings of Guruji and my parents and God, that I'm much simpler with his blessings, and this book is our ultimate direction, and through this book, Guruji's teaching, I then got connected to Bhagavad Gita, what Guruji has interpreted, written, and I must say that it's the ultimate book in this world. If you can read and understand that book and this thing, Bhagavad Gita, God talks to Arjuna, that's the ultimate book, but it needs a lot of time.
I will stop you here for a moment, because I think Guruji has written something, so there is definitely something special will be about that. So I think you have gone with the normal Bhagavad Gita, so many Bhagavad Gita commentary are there. I think you have gone through God Talks with Arjuna also. So if you can just take into the little bit essence, like what Guruji, God Talks with Arjuna trying to say, trying to convey for a Kriya Yogi, anything you can say on that?
Okay, so then you asked me about Kriya Yoga. So Guruji finally he has taught many things, Om technique and Hongsa technique, so people can read that lesson and learn that practice. But then ultimately it is Kriya, which is the greatest yoga, science, it's a scientific, and yoga which Guruji has taught. So if one practices Kriya Yoga, that is, I think, I'm struggling to find a right word, is that's the ultimate path of salvation. Wow. Ultimate path of salvation. It is not difficult, not rocket science again, but this is a certain practice which you have to take pledge to learn. So which we are not supposed to discuss that in public forum, what the technique Guruji will
and maybe if anyone want to know, you can read that 26th chapter number of this book. In a very brief, I think he has explained what is the science behind it, about the karma and all. So I think they can go through that book maybe.
But I can tell you what, in simple words, what Reiki has said points, Vipassana said boy, this thing Guruji has put it into the spine.
Wow.
So the whole mind visualization you have to take to your spine, and there is a process to do that. So once you do that, regular practice changes your life in big way, and we are into perpetual Bhavsagar, so we have a life and death cycle. Wow. So Kriya Yoga helps you to shorten that cycle of life and death. So Guruji has said that each Kriya done correctly reduces your journey of this earth by 1 day, 24 hours, right? So one Kriya will improve. So if you do, let's say 10 Kriya, means 10 hours.
I think it's 1 year.
One
maybe
good Kriya.
Yeah, 1 year.
Good Kriya. So I stand corrected. So 1 year. So imagine if you are doing 12 kriyas, so you have actually reduced your
12
journey of this earth by 12 years.
Wow.
So every day, if you do religiously this Kriya Yoga practice, you really make a lot of changes in your system, in your brain, and for your continuation of the life and all. So that is the Kriya Yoga, and that is the yoga which Bhagwan Krishna had taught Arjuna, and then later on it got perpetuated down through Ikshvasu and
Ikshvaku,
Manu, and so on and so forth. And then Jesus Christ was taught this as well, and then Babaji has passed it on to Guruji and to us. So the divine forces are working for all of us who are part of this. Now, when Guruji interpreted or translated Bhagavad Gita, like that book, God Talks to Arjuna, Guruji actually wrote that book when when he was in communion with God. So when he used to dictate for writing this book, which his disciples used to write in shorthand, so he used to be in meditation. So he used to be actually in communion with God, and then he used to keep on dictating. So people used to just write, because as if it is coming from cosmic elsewhere. So that is the depth of Bhagavad Gita, and it is so fascinating book, this particular Bhagavad Gita interpretation. It's extremely difficult for me to explain that. It's very tough, but very beautiful, and I can tell you through everybody that we haven't seen any Bhagavad Gita interpretation
like that.
And you should read this book, and you should then watch that Mahabharata serial.
Yeah, and one thing I would like to add here, I think initially you said about Kriya Yoga, and you said it's the fastest way. That's why I think Guruji somewhere mentioned Kriya Yoga is the aeroplane way. I think aeroplane is the fastest, like I can go to Bangalore in 2 hours. But by the way, if I go by train, it takes around 44 hours, 40 hours. So it is that much effective, I think, because it's mainly energy work, I think you try to mention. And second thing you mentioned about what amazed me when I haven't read completely, but little bit of that. He said the war is not outside at all. The Kurukshetra is within all of us. Like generally we pretend like everything is outside, we fight outside, but it's like a projection. In Yoga Vasishtha also, Bhagwan Ram is saying in that way. Yoga Vasishtha is saying in that way. So that is very amazing. Like Pandavas are like the chakras. Please come on.
Very, very interesting. That's my favorite thing. So so Mahabharata, as per Guruji, and that's the truth, is that Mahabharata, what we know, is actually a metaphor. So there is a story, Mahabharata story, which is going on, which we see in the serial, but there is a underlying Mahabharata happening, which we don't see. We see only serial. So that underlying Mahabharata happens in our body. So that's why in the first shloka, you see, it is the Kurukshetra is Dharmakshetra Kurukshetra. It is not only Kurukshetra. So Dharmakshetra is your body. Wow. Dharmakshetra Kurukshetra. So this whole Kurukshetra is happening inside your body. Another thing very important in the first shloka is that Sanjaya tells everything, and all this narration is in past tense. Though he is watching, it says that he is watching,
but it's already done.
It's in past tense. So Guruji has explained that Sanjaya is introspection. So he says, end of the day, you have to introspect, because there is a fight between Pandava and Kaurava within your body. 5 Pandavas are your 5 chakras, and 100 Kauravas are our negative points in our
Yes,
greed,
so we can say 10 Indriyas in 10 direction, it will become 100 like that way.
Right. So that fight
and I think that Mahabharata stopped there, but still going within all of us, and daily it's happening. And Guruji says until and unless we win that war, it will keep on going like that. Yeah.
So you have to be Arjuna, and you have to take tough decision to kill those negative forces in your body, in your mind, if you really have to win this war.
And I'm loving, like, it's very connecting. Like in Vipassana, you said about those tendencies. I think those tendencies, habits are what, like the Kauravas we all have within us, which keeps us disturbing from time to time. Like they pulling our consciousness out, and somewhere meditation tells about internal thing. So now I will jump from there, because otherwise we will take a lot of time. You mentioned about the solitude, the importance of solitude in your life, and to enhance the solitude you created a place or a cottage in Ranikhet, and I think that is a very close place to Mahavatar Babaji cave as well. So how that idea came into you? Like, I want to really know that vision with which, like, we all have desires, and some desires we express, some we don't express with all of us. So how that vision came? Like, you're smiling, I know a lot is within you. So will you please let us know, and what is the vision with that cottage? Like, do you have some plan, like you want to create something?
Okay, so again I said endless blessings I can count. My whole life is blessings.
Please transfer some blessing to me.
So because everything he's doing for us and for me is so.
Shyamal Ji, 1 minute I will stop you here. Like, when you say Guruji is doing things for us, or the universe is doing things for us, generally it's very undigestible for people who are not deep in spirituality, which are not very deep in yoga, or not very committed to life. So for them, what is your suggestion would be? Like, you have been with professional guys also, you have seen like they are totally into material, and you have been to spirituality I think for so long. So do you have any suggestion for them?
Okay, very
Sorry,
nice.
I'm diverting for that, but
No,
just one thing.
No, very, very nice. So we have spoken about Kriya a little bit, and spirituality, and everything that's good. But what I did not plan it. God planned it for me. I am just executing it. Okay, and I'll just finish your question now. So how this Ranikhet happened is that I used to travel a lot. I love traveling to mountains and trekking and etc.
Wow.
So I used to do a lot, and then some connection grew that must do something in mountain. Ranikhet happened just by blessings, because I didn't plan anything. I went, and somebody showed me the place. I said, okay, I don't know anything, give me the papers, we'll go and see. And it just happened. But good thing, one I must mention here, the day I went to Ranikhet and we saw the place, that land, and when we met the person, the owner of the land, he gave us a paper. He's a nice gentleman. So you get the vibe, there's a nice person.
True.
So I took the papers and we sat in a car. We drove for 10-20 kilometers. And then that day was our Param Guru's birthday, Yukteswar Ji birthday. And something struck me, and I told my friend, his name is Sunil, I said, Sunil, my intuition says that we will get this land.
That time you talked to him, it was not finalized.
We just met him for the first time.
Okay.
And we didn't know about the place, what is available, not available, nothing. Somebody showed us, we saw it. I didn't understand anything because I didn't know anything about it. We met that gentleman. He said, okay, I'll show you. He showed us, and we said, give the paper. We'll just see, understand, and that's it. And next 1 hour, I was on the road, and I said, Sunil, I feel, my intuition says, this deal will be done.
Yeah.
We'll get this place. And that happened.
Wow.
Smoothly. It was very nice man.
Like, it was had to happen. Like, it was destined. Like,
and from my place, Dwarat, where we have ashram, it is 30 kilometers. And that Dunagiri mountain where cave is there is 54 kilometers.
Will you explain the importance of that cave a little bit?
Okay.
If you want.
So, Ranikhet is one place which is there in our book, reference of in YSS, and in Bengali literature, Ranikhet was mentioned earlier also. So, Ranikhet is the place where our Param Guru's Param Guru, he had our Guruji's Param Guru, Lahiri Mahasaya, he was transferred to Ranikhet. His official duty. He was in military engineering, and he was transferred there. And while he was there, one day he was just walking up the jungle and mountain, and he reached a mountain place. And when he reached there, and it was eveningish, and he suddenly saw some saint there in a clad with a stick, sadhu with long hair, copper colored hair. Was sitting, and he looked at him and he called him. So called him, and he called him by name. Nobody knew. Gangadhar, have you come? So he suddenly turned and he thought, how come ascetic in this jungle calling my name, and how does he know my name like that? So he said, don't you remember? Look at this place. You used to sit and do meditation and all. So Lahiri Masha thinks I got caught in some wrong place. I think he said, no, no, I don't remember, but I would like to go because it's becoming dark and a jungle. So then that ascetic sadhu told a phrase in Bible, which is there in Bible. And that phrase is Sabbath is for you, not you for Sabbath. In Bible it is there. So that sadhu will say, this office is brought for you and not you for office. Right? So then Lahiri Masha feels that how come ascetic in this jungle know the paraphrase of Bible? There must be somebody. So he said, come here. So goes and then he puts his hand on his forehead, and then Lahiri Masha goes into his past life, and then he remembers all his past life, and then he says, oh, you are my Guru, and he then falls on his feet. And that is where Babaji gave Kriya Yoga, initiated Lahiri Masha with Kriya Yoga. That is the first time, the start of Kriya Yoga, which Babaji gave to Lahiri Masha, and then Lahiri Masha initiated, and there's a nice story about it. And then Lahiri Masha wanted to stay with him. He said, I don't want to go, I want to stay with you. But Babaji told Lahiri Masha that no, you have to go back and you have to spread this, you have to give this Kriya Yoga to the qualified person. Why you have to go and do is that I want people to know that a family householder, he was married, he had children, a family householder like you can achieve God realization, self-realization, without shunning the responsibility of his marital life.
That's a very beautiful thing. Like
so, grahas जीवन करते हुए भी आप भगवान की प्राप्ति कर सकते हो. That people will learn from you. So that's why you have to go back and teach it to the people who are worth, qualified, want to do that, and that is the task I'm giving you for it. And Lahiri Masha comes back. Interestingly, he was in trance in that for 7 days. In that meditative form in Samadhi. And when he came back to his office in Ranikhet, there was a telegram that your transfer was by mistake, please come back. So that's how when we say Guruji does, God does for you, and that's what happened. So our journey of Kriya Yoga started from that cave only. And that's why cave is a pilgrimage place for all of us.
Yes, and I think that's why those people who are connected with YSS, if they watch this podcast, I think I've been to that place once, and that's a very beautiful place. It is said that complete place is filled with vibration of Babaji. So I think what we said in the initially, like everything else can wait, and I think you let us wait a lot, and finally we came to know about lot of things about you, and I think you also know about lot of things about yourself, and it's really a beautiful conversation, I hope, for me as well, because I think we both are connected with Guruji, and that is what blessing, and I hope, because this is destined to happen, maybe it's Guruji blessing or what, because many times I planned, but some things doesn't happen. But today it happened, so I think it's a grace. What you mentioned, I think a number of times during the podcast, the grace of God on you. So, and I think it's your grace on me as well. Like we are able to do that thing, and so I would like to tell all of you, like during this whole podcast, just a little bit of summary, like how with us a special guest Shyamal sir has explored his journey, how he get a true knowledge from his father. He mentioned a lot about his father, how he used to play that Sanskrit chanting and that Mahabharata thing. So that trained his subconscious mind, that created that committedness. And then he mentioned about his mother, how that his mother is a fountain of love. And I think we all need love in other forms. And mother is what we all get to get that love. Then later, I think we didn't plan to go a lot into your Russia journey, how you planned that, your journey of medicine. That was a really deeper conversation. I think those who are not able to achieve their dreams, maybe because of some reason, they are going to get a lot from that thing. And how that Russia, USSR you mentioned, how the good things are there, you mentioned of that also. And also some communism you mentioned, some points like in this material world we have some good things, some bad things also. And then later words we been to your professional journey, where you applied all your learnings that you learned in Russia and your professional career into your professional career, and your career I think is a smooth one. And then you mentioned of your various company you worked with and your journey, like you headed those organizations. That was again grace of God over you. And then you let us know your journey of Reiki. Reiki is a form of energy healing that we do at certain points. And later word you take us into your Vipassana journey. And you mentioned how you left some of your habits and you transform yourself. And then later your two friends, I think you mentioned of, introduced you to that YSS, that Autobiography of Yogi, that is the Yoga Satsang Society of India. And this whole book transformed your life as well as mine. That's why we are sitting in the same sofa and sharing our experiences. So I think these are our deep experiences, and then you take us to that whole Bhagavad Gita, and then related to this book, and then fortunately we went to your cottage also by sitting here only. And I have a feeling like that cottage is going to definitely help others in future.
That is, this cottage, the name is Sahasrara.
Oh
Sahasrara.
my God.
And I have one room dedicated as an altar, meditation room. So that's a place gives me so much of peace. You're asking me of solitude.
And that's why you always remain in Sahasrara, leaving us all in Delhi. Yeah.
So lastly, before closing, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk about Guruji's work, our association with Yoga Satsang Society, our learning, inspiration which we have got, and of course that was good reminiscences that I could walk you and myself through all the journey. That's nice. I have few points I would leave for the people.
Yeah, final points you want to discuss.
Right.
Yeah.
Two, three very key things is that I intend to, while now I'm associated with my ashram. So
I would like to know like how long, how many years you have been connected to YSS?
18 years now.
Wow. Can you see 18 years and 32 years he was in his professional career? Like I think you are challenging your professional career with this thing. Amazing, sir.
And this will win, of course.
Yeah, and this will, I don't say you also do that, but that shows by his experience, his knowledge, like there is something you can explore. Like you mentioned, exploration is a good word. Don't believe anything, but explore, I think, yes.
Yes, and now I was coming to the points. Now I see I would like in future. I mean, when I was concluding my career and professional career, I decided I will not do. I was in technical line. I mean, this thing. So I decided not to pursue that. But I thought I will get into some kind of training. I'll impart training because I love teaching, as I said. So, but then my training module would be something different. It's not a regular sales training, not soft skills and all. It will be those, but that will be amalgamation of spirituality into it.
Wow.
That how in today's world, being in spiritual practices, you can still continue to your professional career, whether it is sales, it's marketing, it is accounts, it is service. You know, everything can be done much better than otherwise. So people feel spirituality means they have to renounce everything. No, renunciation is not external. Our Guruji
He's sitting here only, so
right.
you don't.
So I do my daily job. I travel. I go to cottage. I do my life. I've done my professional life. But once you are anchored in such spiritual guidance.
Shyamal Ji, I want you, I think we have been deeper into that. Can you just explain whenever you say in your experience spirituality, because it's a very heavy word these days. So what does that spirituality in very simple way mean to you?
So one of the saints of Ramakrishna Mission had made one sentence. He said, like in banana, the peel of banana is like religion. And the core of the banana is the spirituality.
Wow.
So we do a lot of religious practices. So the saints say that religious practices take you to that much. But don't get stuck with that.
Wow.
So go inside that, the presence of God. And presence of God in Guruji's language is presence of stillness. So if you can achieve stillness, more and more stillness you achieve, more and more silence you can achieve, you will feel the presence of God.
Wow.
So that's why you have to invest some time of your day to achieve that stillness. And that is where the meditation practice comes into picture. So in spirituality, you have to develop stillness, silence. To have stillness, you need an environment which is silence. And to have that, you need to practice.
Okay.
And when you do practice of meditation, you actually interiorize. So you cut off the connection with your all five sense organs.
Wow. So let's come to direct point. By your 18 years of experience, will you give us some very small, simple practice to practice those who don't know what meditation is? Any simple practice you would like to suggest?
Okay. So one thing I say that pranayama. So pranayama, many people talk about pranayama. I think I can simply say, if you want to start, just do simple practice like you inhale, hold, exhale. That's a simple technique. It's a 20 inhalation, count of 20 you inhale, hold it, the count of 20, and exhale, count of 20. I can assure you, whatever state of mind you are, if you practice it 10 times, sitting there, inhale, hold, exhale, inhale, you'll say slowly your body will calm down, your mind will calm down. It has to happen. There cannot be any alternative. So I start with that. We all start with that. So first you have to calm your body, and then you sit in silence. You don't have to worship any particular. You don't have to take anybody's teaching. Whoever is your
Shyamal Ji, would you, sorry I'm going longer.
Yeah, please.
Would you go a little deeper? What is the nature of that silence? Because silence for people is sometimes killing, because wrong memories come to their mind. So silence you get after doing this breathing practice, silence that we get during the night when we sleep, what is the nature of that silence?
Okay, so good question, and again I'll take a little bit of your time. So, and Guruji has explained it very nicely, that when you sleep, and everybody sleeps, everybody knows what is sleep. So when you sleep and you get up next day morning,
but sir, not everyone wakes up next morning.
And again, blessings that we must
be aware of that. Yes, someone
that
told
we
me.
At least get up every morning.
Yeah.
Many people do not see next day. So every step in your life, you have to thank God.
Wow.
That
gratitude thing.
That simple feeling, if we have that gratitude sense of it, that we are living, we are talking, we are breathing.
Wow.
Next moment we don't know whether we'll breathe.
Yeah.
So when you go home, step out of this body, you don't know whether you reach home or not. So it's all blessing.
True.
If you are reaching home, you are getting up in the morning, you are eating your food, you are able to walk. It's all blessings. So that's why I feel that, one has to understand this God.
Wow.
There cannot be otherwise. Such an immaculate planning of your life, human body, how a child is born and grown. And so if you go to any of this activity and if you go deeper into it, it cannot be possible without a designer sitting somewhere up there.
Something
designing
can be
it for you.
created. True.
It cannot be from spark.
True.
It has to be something created by somebody, and that's God. So when you talk about silence, it is basically when Guruji was teaching us also. So we are some of five sense organ we just spoke about. So we have eyes, we have ears, we have nose, we have taste, we have touch. So our being today is some of the information we have collected from five sense organ, right? So today what we think is what information we have collected. I've heard from you, seen from this book or from telecom, and then I create some image and I think this is a world.
Wow.
And that is how we are growing. So when you sleep and next day when you get up, you know that I was not dead, and you also know I was not awake. So, and if you had a good sleep, so I had a very good sleep today. And if you have a bad sleep, you said I had, but you know you are not awake.
True.
So what is that? So that you are in a third state. When you are not dead, you are not alive, it was in third state. And what happens? You were tired by the evening. When you sleep, next day you are fresh.
Recharge. True.
So what happened? So that two things happen, that you go to a third state, and that state is in control of God or cosmic energy, whatever you call it, and that is where the repair starts. So whole night your body gets to repair, and that repair comes from the cosmic energy is sent to our body. It enters through a part called medulla, which is called, as Guruji says, it's the mouth of God.
Wow.
So the energy enters and it goes through your spine to all your chakras, and those chakras are energized, and that chakra distribute energy to your body. So next day you feel your tiredness is gone, you are fresh. So that happens. But that to happen, you have to close your eyes, ears. So God has created this world in a way that night will happen, lights will go off, you will feel tired,
Relax.
you will sleep. So He makes it happen so that He can do His job.
Wow.
So He will repair your body and prepare you for next day.
Yes, that's why Guruji said somewhere, in the night time you become God, in the daytime you become again human beings.
Yes.
So
your control with for Him. So Guruji has said, to achieve that state when you are awake in your daily life is meditation.
Wow.
So in meditation, you have to achieve that stage where you are not sleeping, you are not awake, you are in third state. So meditation helps you to do that, and for that you have to shut down your eyes, shut down your this thing. So that's why you need a silent place, a corner where you sit. Try to disconnect yourself from the sense organ. So when you practice more, you then after some time, when you first you do this breathing exercise, you stabilize your body, then you start focusing inside. Guruji has said that the simplest thing is to do is focus between your eyebrows. This is a point which we call
center.
Spiritual eye center, Kuthastha Chaitanya. So do nothing, just focus yourself. Try to focus yourself, not focus, try to focus. Slowly you will come to a stage where you are able to stay there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and that's a journey of meditation starts. Rest you will learn.
Wow.
So more now doesn't help. So stabilize your body by doing the breathing exercise, and then concentrate on one point, and disconnect yourself from other sense organs. Just invest 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, increase that time to 1 hour, good enough for a day, end of the day. If you do that, I think you will yourself realize that what silence is,
Wow.
how interiorization happens, how you become so peaceful once you finish that 1 hour session of yourself. It is being with you. There's a time being with you, and then you gradually grow into meditation. And then of course you can learn any technique.
It's a long
you find
journey,
suitable.
definitely.
We are not saying that you have to learn from Yoga.
Wow. Anyway, you can go, but go.
Yes.
You start your journey.
So my question, my advice to people is that please practice meditation in whatever form, whichever is Guru. You have a Guru, you have a God, whatever path you follow, whatever religion you follow, practice meditation. Meditation doesn't have any religion. It is to be with yourself, to achieve stillness, silence. Practice it. You would do immensely good in whichever career you are, okay? And you can achieve things which you feel otherwise is difficult, but that becomes so easy. You can take decision very well. You can be peaceful. You can be calm. You can come across to people in much better way, and that all happens. And once you embark on this path, and then God takes care of you.
Amazing.
So God says, Guruji says, that God says, you do my job, which means that God has given you some responsibility, like He has given me some responsibility. Your job is to do that. So God says, you do my job, I'll take care of you. So you don't have to worry.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's like what you said is surrender. And lastly, I would say a single line. We are like the waves of a sea. We get away during the daytime. At night time, we again go and merge in the sea, which recharges. So I think I didn't feel any lack of strength after going through this conversation. It was all energetic. I hope it's for you as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's really healing one for me, transformative for me, and it's a definitely beautiful podcast for those who are connected to YSS, definitely, and those who are professionally want to do a lot in their, they are committed to their work. So lastly, I will ask you a simple any feedback for Anandyatra. I hope today you felt a joy, like what this channel is all about. Any feedback, any experience you went through today you want to express?
I'm very happy, Ashish ji, that you are doing this, and I would request that you do more often, And maybe I can give one suggestion that you can take one topic
True.
and have this discussion so that
Yeah.
people get this inspiration and this information.
You're in the next number, sir. This is for your life. Next, we will go with a topic. Don't worry about that.
Yes, we can pick up one topic
Yeah.
and talk on that, because people, can listen to that and then read, and then they can give, they can see life example.
Yeah.
Like when people say that somebody has practiced or done it and then is able to relate.
Then they
So
can relate and have faith as well. Yes.
So we can pick up some topics and do how to help the upcoming generation. They are much in need of meditation today. This world going through war, so many wars everywhere. People are so aggressive. You open up newspaper, it is all killing.
True.
So at this stage, the only thing which you need is meditation.
Okay.
Free of cost. It costs nothing. It needs your investment of time, dedication, and that can do immense good to you and the humanity.
Wow. At the last, let's play a rapid fire round. Okay, so 3 is a very important number. I hope spiritual number. So I will ask you 3 things of various things. You have to answer me very straightforwardly, whatever comes to your mind. Any 3 places you would love to go to recharge yourself? I know first is Ranikhet.
I would go to Kerala.
Okay.
And
You have been there or you want to?
I went to meet my friend,
Okay.
but this time I want to go to experience that oil therapy.
Wow.
You know.
That is best there. You can go.
Yes. So that's a physical thing, and I want to see what they do, how they do. That's a detox.
I like your exploratory nature. Still, you are on exploration.
And I
Wow.
must tell you now, my agenda now is next week I'm going to Ranikhet. I'll be there for 1 week and come back. Then 26th January I'm going to Kumbh Mela.
Wow.
So because it had been my dream to go to Kumbh Mela.
You have never been there? Oh wow.
First
You're
time.
fortunate. Like
I will
due to
go.
some reason I was not able to maybe go there.
No, I want to go this year. I want to see those Siddha.
Or maybe when you will come back now, we will make a good podcast on Kumbh, your Kumbh experience. Maybe if you go with that. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And let me tell you, after Kumbh, then I'll go to Andamans.
Oh my God. You're leaving something or you will finish everything. Please take me with you as well.
So now, since I'm now retired, and
You are never retired, sir. You are doing a lot of work here. How can you say you are
so
retired?
I'm investing my time into more of exploration,
Wow,
seeing the
wow,
places,
wow.
and
That's why you mentioned you are a nature lover as well as.
I think I am.
You mentioned of the tracks. You mentioned of the places.
I
you,
live in this place in Ranikhet. It is amidst of a forest, and at times when I go there, aspas, there's nobody. There are many houses. People are not there. It's only me and my servant is there, caretaker. It is absolute dark jungle, and I live there, sit there, and it's
Please
such
don't take me wrong. I think you are a grahastha yogi. You are living a life. You come to Delhi, you do your work, all your responsibility, then you again go back and do all your work. And Himalaya is recharging you definitely. So at the last, I think okay. Next question would be any 3 person, like you have enjoyed the today's session. So any 3 person you would like to refer, like they can come and have a podcast. Any 3 randomly come to your name?
Yes, one of my friend Sunil, I said, who
Okay.
is a traveler
Yeah.
with me. He says, good person. He is associated with Isha.
Wow.
He's doing a lot of work.
Please
there.
love to get connected. Later you connect with me. Okay.
Yes. So he is with me for a very long time.
Wow.
You know, and
That's why I seen you take a lot of names during that. Yeah.
so he is definitely one
Okay,
person.
second.
I will see that he must do. No, I have friends like another friend Amitabh who had given me this book.
Wow.
He also reads a lot. Good knowledgeable person. He will give a different perspective, if not on thoroughly on spirituality, but he has
on
all the
life.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Knowledge. Yes, he has read all the books.
Wow.
He reads more than me.
Oh.
Okay, so that's.
But I
what-
think you digest more. than
no,
me.
I jumped into the practice.
Yeah.
And he still.
And that is what I think because I also initially read a lot. But now I think if we don't practice, somehow we start accumulating.
But that's very interesting. Both the people who are there, there's something which is stopping them.
Yeah, definitely.
And I've told them that's their ego, and they know that their ego which is stopping them. So I keep nudging them time to time.
Okay. Third person?
Another person who had given this, the two people, first Deshwal and then Amitabh. I would think you should do that postcard Deshwal also.
Why? Sure.
Very
I
knowledgeable,
will do
very
that.
nice guy.
I know, by the way, he's your friend, he needs to be knowledgeable.
And you won't believe, I had such a good telepathy with him, and he was transferred to some remote place in Assam, and I used to give him a call. And he would say, Shyamal, good you have called me. So there's something I feel I must call him.
Yeah, I also have so many friends like that. Like when you don't find something, you call them and suddenly you get the insight and something.
And they said, good that you have called. Because he was needing somebody to talk to him and all. It happened so long. And that irony in this guy, I know he needs help. So I wanted him to go into Vipassana. He knows about Yogada. He knows about Guruji. He has read his book. And he was transferred and he got a house just backside of our ashram.
Wow.
And I told Deshwal, Guruji is calling you. He has transferred you, given you house next to his ashram. Now you have to walk this 10 step and go inside. And poor fellow, he could not do it. He will come to our ashram. He will take this book, keep it in his car. He will give it to people. But somehow he is not able to break that barrier. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and I think I also tried with some people, like I tried to take them to center, but I found they were waiting outside for 2 hours, but he said like I was trying to find a place for parking. I said you can park anywhere your car and you can come. Okay, 3 food you love, which really change your mind. I think one would be tea. One would be tea. 3 food you love.
Tea I don't drink, so I don't drink, I don't smoke, so tea is one. I think I'm a tea lover.
Okay.
Connoisseur in
And
tea.
specialty.
Huh?
Specialty.
Specialty. That's why I will have lot of, wherever I go, I'll have tea.
And sir have already, मतलब sir ने मुझे काफी tea पिलाई है. I miss that tea.
I भी पिलाऊंगा. So tea is something I love and do. I used to love coffee also now. So these are 2 drinks.
Food?
Generally. Food, I'm not a foodie person. I'm very simple. This thing, I like simple food. But yes, I used to take mutton, chicken earlier. I've left everything. So I take
And
fish.
it happens generally, I think, like generally you become more sensitive, conscious, you left it by
So
yourself.
fish I like, fish I take. So next food is fish, which I eat. And third is biryani, but not mutton chicken biryani, but simple biryani.
You are checking other people's minds by saying the words. Very nice. Now, last question would be any 3 books you would like to refer?
I mean, I've told you, Autobiography of a Yogi is the book. And once you get into it, and if you really want to explore, read God Talks to Arjuna. It's difficult book. I would not say that you jump immediately.
Or maybe I can give a hint here. I think there's a very good sessions on YouTube of Swami Smarananji on God Talks with Arjuna. If you're a beginner, you can watch that. That's a very beautiful conversation. I also watch myself. Because to read Bhagavad Gita and all, you need some guide. You need some mentor. Because initially you don't understand, you will, this book is not at all any good. So you can go through that. I think maybe you have also watched those series lecture on Bhagavad Gita. That's very good.
So I have not been able to complete it.
Okay.
So it's a very tough book. But once you know this book is good, and read this book. And there are few books, in soft skill people, this thing, Veni Dyer is there. He has written very good books, Then Dr. Deepak Chopra.
He's a doctor. Yeah, very beautiful. He has been a monk for some time in Nepal, I think.
No, what happened? He's a surgeon. He's in US, right? And he has approached spirituality from science, like through surgery to body, learning the body, behavior of body. He got into spiritual. So if you see, there are many paths leading to the same destination. So there are many master, many lives.
Yeah,
those
very
books
good
are there.
book, very good book.
So those are few good books. I'm not a voracious reader per se.
But I think you have a lot of things in your mind, lot of stories. Today I came to know like
Even
Shyamal
life
Ji,
experience is teaching me.
Yeah,
but I love to spend more time in reading Guruji's works and books, because that also gives you a lot of peace of mind.
And somebody told me if you read Guruji books, you have everything, you need not to read anything. I don't know maybe how that statement is coming, but somebody told me maybe it is a reason. Okay, I think I'm not feeling to end this podcast, and it's going, keeping on. But I know you have said in the beginning, everything has a starting, so everything has a ending. So I would like to finally thank Shyamal Ji, definitely for coming and enlightening and transforming our minds with his knowledge, with his intelligence, with his stories, and especially for the YSF people, SRF people, you can check out this podcast. I think this is completely in English mostly, so this is very good for that. And you can share with your friends, family, and those who you love. You want to know the mind of Shyamal Ji, his psychology, how the way he thinks, because he manages a lot of people. So you can check it out, and after 24 hours of its release, you can check out this podcast on Spotify also. So I don't want to turn it off, but finally, Shyamal Ji, thanks a lot for coming, spreading your knowledge and peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.